Hey my friends, how's it going? It's Ultimus, and I want to talk to you guys in this video about an upcoming change coming with some of the tuning, tweaks, things like that, hot fixes coming up on July 25th of 2017. Two things they came to my attention because they affect me directly and immediately, but I want to kind of talk about more of an underlying principle here and just kind of hopefully start a discussion here, what your guys' thoughts are on it. I'm obviously going to share mine. And we'll go from there. But on July 25th, which is going to be coming up very, very soon, I'm pretty sure that's actually today, if I'm not mistaken. Let's check my dates. Yeah, today. I say that now, forgetting what day it was. I'm actually recording this the night before, so that's why. I digress. Basically, what's going to happen is today there's going to be some nerfs coming to Arms Warrior Legendaries, which I will say I don't think is necessarily a problem initially. I think Arms Warriors are still going to be fine DPS wise, and I don't really think we have anything to worry about as far as our performance in raids and things like that. And again, this is coming just from my 2 cents, and so I could be completely wrong. But we're going to be seeing Ayala's, which I know I'm pronouncing completely wrong, Ayala's Stoneheart, which is our best in slot legendary ring. I believe for Fury and Arms. I picked mine up a couple weeks ago on Arms, thank God. Which this is the ring that allows you to proc execute. Like we had that talent, I believe it was back in Mr. Pandaria, if I'm not mistaken. And I believe we also had it a little bit in WoD as well. It feels very, very recent. But it was a change that definitely was taken out with Legion, but they added it to this legendary ring. But this is the ring that allows execute to have a chance to proc. Cost no rage and be used on a target regardless of health or level, which is great in combination with the Arms Warrior artifact weapon, which has a stacking buff for execute. For every time you hit someone with execute, it increases the damage of mortal strike by a certain percentage, stacking up to 2 times. Just wonderful, great DPS. This is a godsend for Arms Warrior single target DPS as well as AoE, along with sweeping strike. So it's just great. This ring is being nerfed by 40%. Not in effectiveness necessarily, but in proc rate. So I suppose that's a level of effectiveness, because you really couldn't nerf the damage that it does. But it's going to proc 40% less often, which is substantial. That is a huge, huge deal. Close to half as often. Like just from getting this ring alone, I noticed an immediate increase in my DPS. So that'll be interesting to see how that affects Arms. And then our other legendary, which is just added with patch 7.2.5, the Great Storm's Eye. This is also our other best in slot legendary. So between this and the ring, if you have these, you're golden. And this is basically Ravager, or initially it's Bladestorm, but if you have the Ravager talent, it buffs it as well. Increases your movement speed by 10% and your damage done by 4% for 6 seconds, increasing periodically and stacking up to 6 times. So basically it kind of turns you into a Whirlwind Barb from Diablo, which is kind of cool. But this is being nerfed from a 4% damage increase to 2%. So I still think it's going to be viable. I really do. I think Arms Warriors are still going to be fine, personally. But this is also coming from someone who does Pug, Normals, and Heroics, and LFR for gear. I don't do any mythic rating. That's just the way it is. I'm obviously not a world first raider. I don't even do any mythic progression. So I could be completely wrong on this, and I'm willing to admit that. But just based on what I've seen, I think Arms Warriors as a class are going to be fine. Now that we've addressed that, I want to talk about the main point of the video, which was first and foremost. This is a bit weird mid-tier. Now, I know we've already had our world first and world second kill on kil'jaden from Tomb of Sargeras. Congratulations to both of those guilds. I believe it was Method was the world first, and then the Russian guild that I can never remember their name was world second. So that's really, really cool. But we still have progression going on. Like there's a lot of guilds still progressing. There's still someone out there competing for world third, which obviously, unfortunately, no one really cares about. But the people that get it are going to care. And so it's interesting to see nerfs like this coming mid-progression, which has a lot of people concerned. But my biggest concern is this. When it comes to games like WoW, class balance is obviously important. And just specific tuning is important. Everyone's going to constantly go back and forth and fight and argue about what class is OP, what class isn't, etc., etc. But to me, the bigger principle is the fact that too many nerfs too frequently just is not fun. It's not fun to experience, and it's not fun to see. And again, you have to understand, I'm coming at this argument from the standpoint of believing that Arms Warriors are still going to be fine. I don't think we're going to lose a whole lot from this, and I think we're still going to do fine and have a good place in endgame content. But there's the factor that has to be considered with. It's always more fun to see buffs coming in on an underperforming class than it is to see nerfs coming in. Now, I know nerfs are necessary, and I do see that there are a lot of points where this is going to be necessary, and I don't necessarily even mind that the helm and the ring are being nerfed. It's just the frequency at which nerfs come in instead of buffing everything else to make it better. If you guys understand what I'm saying, like I think it would be much healthier for the game and for players if on a regular basis. So I want to make sure I wasn't running over my dog as I scooted my chair in. On a regular basis, instead of seeing that what was performing very, very well, instead of seeing that nerfed a whole lot, if we could see that which was performing at an underwhelming rate, raised up. Now, I understand that presents issues for progression and tuning, because obviously if you just keep buffing everybody, everybody's just going to steamroll through raids and stuff like that. But the reality of it is, and this was one of the potential dangers that I saw with hotfixes coming in so frequently with Legion. I think it is good for the game, especially for PvP, being able to just hotfix classes on the fly like this on a weekly basis. I still stand by that. I do think it's good for the game, especially for arena and competitive play. But the frequency at which I think we see nerfs coming in, to me, it's just not as exciting. I don't see it as being as fun. And just in general, it's just kind of, it's not, I don't know. And I know not everything is always super positive and sunshine and rainbows and stuff like that, but I have to wonder if the approach to it could be done differently. I'm really curious to know what you guys think as well. Do you think it would be better for the game if instead of seeing, stuff that was doing well brought down, and then obviously stuff that was underperforming brought back up? Should it be more of a balancing scale in this sense, where stuff is brought down a little bit less and stuff is raised up a little bit less, so somehow we meet in the middle there? Because it is unfortunate that we have so many legendaries that people just don't care for. Because really, if you look at it objectively, some of them do add some really cool aspects to the game, but because most players are pretty competitive and they want the best when it comes to competing against other players, there's just a lot of stuff that does not have use because it doesn't have any competitive value, and I think that's the big deal. And you got Manaros Bloodletting Manacles. These are great for soloing dungeons. These have been really, really great for warriors when it comes to a lot of the Mage Tower stuff. It's recommended for a lot of warriors to be wearing this during some of the phases of your Mage Tower challenge. Pride As really isn't bad at all, again, especially for soloing old raids. It's good if you happen to get lucky and get it on a fresh tune when trying to kill rares and things like that. It's great. The extra 25% maximum health. Absorb Shield is great. Even having Refuse is good for it being so accessible as a crafted item. It's not terrible, but there's just no place for it because of how it fares on a competitive scale, I think, compared to some of the other stuff. I personally think Timeless Stratagem is a hell of a lot of fun. Extra 2 charges on Heroic Leap is great. I'm bouncing all over the place. I'm completing world quests so fast. It's just great. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. I feel like the Incredible Hulk leaping around, smashing everything to pieces. It's cool, but it really doesn't have a place in competitive play, which is unfortunate. kil'jaden's Burning Wish is a ton of fun. Just throw a giant fireball at things. And compared to what other trinkets you can get, it's just not as good. And so I really wonder about the design approach to stuff like this. Personally, I think it would be better, and I would like to see stuff balanced more like this rather than stuff balanced like this. I would much rather see, and I think it would be healthy for the game and the mindset of players just to see stuff tweaked a little bit differently, where stuff was buffed more frequently than we just see nerf. It's like, well, this is beating this, so instead of let's make this better, we're just gonna nerf this. It just doesn't feel good. It's almost like, well, I worked really hard to get this, or I got lucky enough, or I was patient enough to get this, and now it's not going to be as good. Like, I literally just got my ring 2-3 weeks ago, which is fine. I'm still going to use it. I'm pretty sure it's still going to be one of my best legendaries, especially compared to what I have. But it's just like, oh, I finally got the ring, and now it's getting nerfed. I know a couple people who are like, yeah, I got the helm, and oh, now it's getting nerfed. It's just, it leaves a sour taste. So I'm really, really curious to hear what you guys have to say about it, what your thoughts are about it. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think stuff should just be nerfed in general to meet the status quo of what's underneath it? Should stuff just be raised up, or should things kind of be brought down to meet in the middle? I'm really curious to know what your guys' thoughts are on this. Let me know down in the comment section below. Share it with a friend. Tell them, hey, what do you think about this? I really want to see if we can get a conversation going on this one. Just because, again, this is stuff that's important because we're talking about quality of life in a game that we all love very, very much. So that being said, that's going to do it for me on this video, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you did. Like we said before, share it with a friend if you thought it was worth their time and yours. Don't forget to check me out on social media as well. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter as well if that's your jam. You can find links to that across the channel. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.